Have you ever wondered why, all of a sudden, certain places and people seem to deeply drain you, even though nothing visible has changed? That feeling of heaviness in the air, as if you're picking up on something others can't perceive, can be confusing and even distressing. But what if I told you that this discomfort is actually a sign that something extraordinary is happening within you? As you awaken spiritually, your body and mind become more sensitive to the energies around you, connecting you to a level of perception that few possess. But why does this sensitivity make crowded places and superficial interactions feel so exhausting? As your spiritual awakening progresses, you may notice a transformation in how you perceive the world. Suddenly, sounds that were once common seem intense, lights appear brighter, and the emotions of those around you take on a new weight. Every detail of your environment, whether physical or emotional, seems to vibrate at a different tone, and this experience is hard to describe. As you expand your consciousness, your mind and body adjust to a new level of sensitivity, picking up on vibrations that previously went unnoticed. But is this really something to fear? Or could it be a gift in disguise? This profound change in your perception isn't merely emotional or psychological. It's physical. The body, a naturally sensitive tool, reacts to new energetic frequencies with a sort of amplification of the senses. Light appears more intense, sound more penetrating, and even the touch of fabric on your skin can become more noticeable. What was once subtle and discreet now seems to shout in your sensory field. This phenomenon occurs because your energy is realigning with higher frequencies, and this process awakens both the physical and spiritual body. Have you ever been in a crowded environment and suddenly felt exhausted for no apparent reason? It's not just the noise or the commotion. It's the energy of the people you're picking up on. The truth is, your sensitivity isn't just reacting to the external world, but adjusting to it on a much deeper level than before. Instead of simply being present in a room, you are now feeling every unspoken emotion, every energetic vibration around you. This can be overwhelming, but it also offers a unique insight into what's happening beyond the visible. Many people may not understand this phenomenon. It's common for others to tell you that you're being too sensitive or overreacting. But what's happening inside you goes far beyond a simple matter of sensitivity. You are developing a spiritual perception that few possess. This ability to sense what is invisible to most people is a powerful skill, and each time you experience it, you are accessing information that transcends the physical world. This heightened sensitivity also reflects in your intuition. As you pick up more sensory and energetic information, your intuition becomes sharper. You know that feeling when something just seems wrong or right without concrete evidence? That's your intuition, working in tandem with the new perception you've developed. At this point, it's important to ask yourself, am I trusting this new perception? Or am I still bound by the limitations of what's visible? Though it's a gift, this heightened sensitivity also brings challenges. Crowded places can become unbearable. Superficial interactions may feel empty and draining, and the need for solitude increases. You're not running away from the world. You're learning to navigate it in a new way, more aware and more connected. This sensory overload can be difficult to manage, but it's an essential part of your spiritual growth. Knowing that this sensitivity is part of a larger process can bring relief. The exhaustion you feel is not a sign of weakness, but of adjustment. Just as a musical instrument needs to be tuned to play a perfect melody, you are adjusting to the new vibrations your spirit is learning to hear. And the more you fine-tune this sensitivity, the clearer your path becomes. Have you ever considered that this sensitivity might be preparing you for something greater? We often wonder why we go through challenges like this, but what if this were a kind of preparation? Every time you feel deeply, you're learning more about the spiritual world and yourself. This wisdom connects you to a higher purpose, where sensitivity becomes a tool for discernment, not just a burden. To handle this new reality, balance is key. Knowing when to withdraw from draining environments and when to open yourself up to enriching experiences is part of the journey. Over time, you'll discover that this sensitivity isn't just something to endure, but a source of great power and wisdom. It allows you to see beyond the surface and connect with the world in a way that few can. Thus, your sensitivity is not a limitation. It's a window to a new level of understanding. The more you embrace this part of yourself, the more it leads you toward your greater purpose. The question that remains is, are you ready to follow this path with confidence and clarity? Have you noticed that as you grow spiritually, you feel a greater need to be alone? This impulse for isolation is not a sign that something is wrong. On the contrary, it is a direct reflection of the internal transformation you are undergoing. Contact with the outside world, which once seemed normal, now feels exhausting, as if something inside you is calling for silence and introspection. But why does this need arise? And what does it truly mean? Isolation is often misunderstood. People may think you are withdrawing because you are sad, or that you are running away from something. However, what is really happening is a deep search for reconnection with yourself and the divine. When you retreat into solitude, you are allowing your spirit to reorganize, your energies to recalibrate, and your mind to find the clarity it so desperately needs. It is a time of healing, not of escape. The need for isolation is common among those on a deep spiritual path. Silence becomes a powerful tool. In silence, you are not just avoiding external noise, but creating space to hear your own soul. Jesus, for example, even though he was a figure surrounded by crowds, often withdrew to be alone. He knew that silence brings a strength that crowds cannot offer. In the same way, your isolation is a time of preparation for something greater. Society, however, doesn't always understand this. We live in a world that values extroversion, constant contact, and physical presence. Isolation is often seen as something negative, as if being alone is a problem to be fixed. But are we not forgetting the value of silence? Are we not distancing ourselves from a wisdom that resides in the act of disconnecting from the external world? The truth is that isolation is a golden opportunity to reconnect with what is truly important. This period of withdrawal also serves to strengthen your emotional independence. When you step back, you realize that external validation is not necessary. Your strength comes from within, not from what others say or think. You learn to be your own guide, to seek answers within your own soul. This is a profound process of self-knowledge and empowerment. And it's not an easy process, but it is essential for growth. There is something deeply transformative about being alone with yourself. Without distractions, you begin to see your own truths, your fears, your most genuine aspirations. Isolation allows you to see things more clearly, without the external influences that often distort our perception. In this state, you align with your true essence, and it is from this essence that all your strength and wisdom emerge. But why is isolation so necessary? It is, essentially, a time of preparation. Many of the great spiritual revelations in history happened during moments of solitude. Moses climbed Mount Sinai alone. Buddha found enlightenment while meditating in isolation under the Bodhi tree. These moments of introspection are fundamental for you to connect with something greater and understand your purpose. Isolation also offers the opportunity for purification. When you distance yourself from the energies of the external world, you begin to discern what is yours and what is not. Often we are so overwhelmed by external expectations and pressures that we lose sight of who we truly are. Time alone allows you to free yourself from these influences, cleanse yourself energetically, and reconnect with your own truth. This process of purification and reconnection should not be rushed. Every moment of silence, every day of isolation, is a crucial part of the journey. When you return to the world, you will be stronger, more centered, and more aware of who you are and what you are here to do. It is a time to recharge, to align with your higher purpose, and to prepare for the next step. Therefore, do not be afraid to embrace isolation. It is an essential part of your awakening process. And when you are ready to emerge from this state, you will do so with a clarity and strength that the world has yet to see. Isolation, then, is not an end, but a beginning. Have you ever felt inexplicably exhausted after spending time with others, even when they haven't done anything directly against you? This phenomenon is more common than it seems, and is closely tied to the energy exchange that occurs between human beings. Every person carries an energetic charge, a unique vibration, that is constantly transmitted, consciously or unconsciously, to those around them. And if you are spiritually sensitive, this exchange becomes much more intense and impactful. Being in social environments can be overwhelming for someone with heightened sensitivity. At first, everything seems normal. You talk, interact, smile. But as time goes by, an inexplicable fatigue begins to set in. This exhaustion is not just physical, but energetic. Without realizing it, you are absorbing the energies of those around you, whether good or bad. and this energetic transmutation can be extremely draining. Many people are unaware that their energies are being transmitted to others. When someone is stressed, sad, or angry, these emotions do not remain isolated. They spread, affecting the environment, and can be absorbed by those around them. For a spiritually sensitive person, this means that being in a place with many people, especially in emotionally tense settings, can lead to significant energetic overload. But how can you avoid being affected by these energies? Awareness is the first step. Knowing that this energy exchange is happening gives you the power to act preventively. You can protect yourself energetically by limiting the amount of energy you absorb. A simple technique is to visualize a protective barrier around you. Imagine an enveloping light that shields you and filters out the energies you do not wish to absorb. This may seem simple, but it's an effective practice to keep your energetic field clear. Moreover, meditation and contact with nature are powerful ways to release accumulated energies. When you feel energetically overwhelmed, a simple barefoot walk on the earth or a meditation session in a peaceful place can make a big difference. Nature has an incredible capacity to restore energetic balance. The earth, in particular, can absorb the energies that no longer serve you, allowing you to regain your natural equilibrium. Have you noticed how, in natural settings, your body seems to automatically relax? This happens because nature is in a constant state of harmony. By connecting with it, you realign yourself with this harmony. This process is essential for those with heightened energetic sensitivity. It not only heals, but also strengthens, allowing you to face the world with more energy and clarity. Grounding is another helpful technique. When you feel overloaded, visualize roots extending from your feet, connecting to the center of the earth. This technique helps release the negative energies you may have absorbed and stabilizes your energetic field. By grounding yourself, you return to your natural state of balance, and the energetic overload begins to dissipate. Have you ever wondered why certain people seem to drain you energetically, while others leave you feeling revitalized? This happens because, during interaction, there is a continuous exchange of energies. People with heavy emotional burdens, even unintentionally, can transfer some of these emotions to you. Conversely, people with light, positive energy can subconsciously elevate your vibration. This continuous flow is natural, but when you become more aware, you can learn to direct it. Knowing how to say no is also a way to protect your energy. Often, we are conditioned to believe that we must always be available to others. However, those with heightened energetic sensitivity need to learn to withdraw when necessary. This isn't selfishness, but a form of self-care. By recognizing your limits and stepping away from situations that drain you, you protect yourself and ensure your energy remains intact. At the end of the day, what matters is how you feel about your interactions. If you leave an environment or conversation feeling drained, it's a sign that there was an intense energy exchange. Recognizing this and taking steps to restore your balance is essential for those walking a spiritual path. And, over time, you'll realize that this energetic transmutation, when well managed, can be a powerful tool for self-awareness and growth. Throughout history, different cultures and spiritual traditions have recognized the power of energetic sensitivity. Shamans, central figures in many indigenous societies, were masters in the art of connecting with the invisible world, understanding the subtle nuances between the physical and the spiritual. For them, sensitivity was not seen as a weakness, but as a gateway to deeper, transformative knowledge. Can we learn from these ancient traditions to strengthen our own sensitivity? Shamans were known for their ability to move between the physical world and spiritual realms. Through rituals involving drums, chants, and the use of sacred plants like ayahuasca, they accessed altered states of consciousness where they could perceive what was hidden from ordinary sight. The repetitive sound of the drum, for example, was used as a tool for concentration and expanding consciousness. This ancient practice teaches us that inner silence and openness to subtle energies can connect us to greater wisdom. Energetic sensitivity, as seen by the shaman, was not just a personal skill, but a responsibility. Shamans used their connection with energies to heal, guide, and protect their community. Their sensitivity allowed them to sense when something was wrong, to pick up the vibrations of a person or environment, and to offer solutions. This shows that sensitivity is not a burden, but a tool for service when used wisely. Part of shamanic practice involved the use of power plants to intensify their connection with the spiritual. Herbs like sacred tobacco or ayahuasca were used to cleanse the energetic field, unblock traumas, and strengthen spiritual perception. While the use of these plants is not suitable for everyone, the principle behind them is important. Nature has the power to help us connect with our deepest selves and heal the wounds we carry, both physical and spiritual. Shamans were also masters of understanding the dynamic between light and shadow. They knew that to access true wisdom, one must first confront their own shadows, their fears, and insecurities. This is something that remains relevant today. When we become more energetically sensitive, we are often forced to face parts of ourselves that we would rather avoid. Sensitivity compels us to look inward and deal with what we find, so we can then help others. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have a natural connection with the spiritual, while others struggle to grasp these concepts? The truth is that we all have the ability to develop this connection, but it requires letting go of control and trusting our intuition. The shaman knew this. He didn't try to force the answers, but received them with open arms, allowing wisdom to flow naturally. A part of this ancestral wisdom also involved the use of rituals for energetic protection. Shamans understood that to access the spiritual world, one had to be energetically prepared. They used purification rituals, such as the smoke of sacred herbs, to cleanse their energetic field before interacting with external energies. This practice teaches us the importance of being aware of our own energy and protecting it before engaging with other forces. What can we learn from the shamans? They show us that energetic sensitivity can be a bridge between the physical and the spiritual, a path to healing and transformation. For those who are spiritually awakening, shamanic practices offer a way to understand and use this sensitivity in a practical and effective way. The drum, sacred plants, and purification rituals are tools we can adapt to our own spiritual journey. Today, we live in a world where spirituality is often disconnected from the body. However, the shaman reminds us that body and spirit are intimately linked. By taking care of our physical body, purifying our energy, and connecting with nature, we are, in fact, nurturing our spirit. And this union between body and spirit is essential for those who wish to access the deeper truths of the universe. Thus, the shaman's path teaches us that energetic sensitivity, far from being a burden, is a gift that can be used to connect with the spiritual world and align with our true purpose. By embracing this wisdom, we can transform our lives and the lives of those around us. Ancient Egypt has always been a land shrouded in mysteries and esoteric practices. Its priests were known for their mastery of subtle energies and their ability to connect with the divine in ways that transcended the physical world. Egyptian spiritual knowledge was profound, and many of their rituals were tied to the manipulation and understanding of the invisible energies that permeate reality. How can these practices help us today? What can we learn from this ancient wisdom? The Egyptians believed in the Ka, a form of vital energy, and the Ba, the immortal spirit. For them, human existence was not limited to the physical body. It extended into spiritual dimensions that coexisted with the earthly realm. Energetic sensitivity was seen as a crucial ability for those seeking to understand these invisible dimensions. For Egyptian priests, it was essential to be energetically aligned in order to access these higher realms and fulfill their spiritual mission. Egyptian rituals were not mere formalities. They were designed to attune participants to cosmic and spiritual energies. One such ritual involved sacred geometry, like the use of pyramids, which were not just monuments, but true energetic portals. The pyramids amplified and focused cosmic energies, allowing priests to connect with deities and universal forces. This teaches us that the spaces we inhabit, and even the shapes we use, can profoundly influence our spiritual connection. Another fascinating aspect of ancient Egypt was the use of symbolism. Every hieroglyph, every image, every form had a deep meaning that transcended its physical appearance. The Egyptians believed that symbols, when used correctly, could channel energies and open doors to spiritual realms. Today, we can still apply this wisdom by incorporating powerful symbols into our spiritual practices, such as the Star of Isis, a symbol of protection and wisdom. What truly set Egyptian priests apart was their dedication to spiritual growth through initiatic practices. These practices were not open to everyone. Only those who demonstrated a deep understanding of energies and the spirit were admitted to initiation rites. These rituals were not just symbolic. They represented a spiritual death and rebirth, where the initiate underwent profound transformation and emerged with a new understanding of the universe and themselves. Have you ever considered how these rituals could apply to our modern lives? We live in a world that often overlooks the importance of subtle energies. However, the Egyptians knew that to live fully, one needed to balance the physical and the spiritual. Today, we can incorporate these practices by creating our own rituals of purification, meditation, and energetic alignment. We don't need grand temples or pyramids to access this knowledge. What we need is clear intention and the willingness to connect with these energies. Egyptian priests also performed purification rituals using water from the Nile, believing it held unique spiritual and energetic properties. Water was seen as a symbol of renewal and healing, and purification rituals were conducted to cleanse the body and soul before interacting with the divine. This teaches us that energetic cleansing is fundamental for those wishing to access higher spiritual realms. Today, we can adapt this practice by using purified water in our own rituals, symbolizing the cleansing of negative energies and the strengthening of our energetic field. Another important Egyptian practice was the activation of chakras through harmonization with the stars. The priests believed that each star had a specific influence on our energetic body, and that by aligning with these stars, the initiate could activate their highest spiritual potential. This practice resembles the modern concept of chakras, and we can use it by meditating or visualizing these energy centers, aligning with cosmic forces. Ancient Egypt teaches us that energetic sensitivity, when well managed, can be a powerful tool for accessing spiritual realms and aligning with our divine purpose. The key is to be in tune with the energies around us and learn to use them to our advantage. Just as the Egyptian priests did, we can incorporate rituals of purification, meditation, and divine connection into our daily lives, turning our spiritual journey into something profound and meaningful. Finally, the mysteries of ancient Egypt remind us that spiritual knowledge is eternal. The initiatic practices of the Egyptians are a source of wisdom that even thousands of years later can still guide us in our quest for spiritual understanding and energetic balance. By looking to the past, we find the tools to transform the present. The Essenes, a mystical spiritual community that existed during the time of Jesus, practiced profound rituals and spiritual techniques that sought inner silence as a path to enlightenment. Living in community, far from the large cities, they believed that contact with nature and the cultivation of silence were essential to connect with the divine. This silent connection with God, the inner Father, was the key to their spiritual balance and wisdom. One of their most well-known practices was the prayer of silence, where, for long periods, the Essenes would retreat to meditate in contact with nature, feeling the flow of energies around and within themselves. It was believed that true knowledge could only be accessed by those who knew how to calm their minds and listen to the messages from the divine heart. This practice deeply resonates with those who, today, feel the need for moments of silence and solitude to recharge their energies. In addition, the Essenes used purification rituals involving water, fire, and air, believing that these elements could help cleanse the energetic body from external influences. Their breathing and meditation techniques aim to align the spirit with cosmic forces and bring internal balance, a practice that can still be adopted today by people who feel energetically overwhelmed in crowded environments. The Essene philosophy also focused on the idea that to serve others, one must first serve oneself by finding inner peace and harmony. Those who sought to help the world first needed to withdraw from it to gain clarity. This practice remains relevant today for those who find the external world exhausting, but who recognize the importance of connecting with themselves before interacting with the energies around them. Your sensitivity is a powerful tool, preparing you for something greater. The isolation you experience, the energetic overload in crowds, all of this is part of your alignment with your divine purpose. Embrace these moments to grow, connect with your essence, and strengthen yourself on your path. If you're interested in exploring more about spirituality, I've handpicked some videos full of profound insights and fascinating discoveries that you'll love. Just click on one of them. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue this journey of self-discovery and spiritual learning. Your commitment to knowledge is the first step to transforming your reality.